My name's Dave Bautis of Bautis IT. We like to help companies remove frustrations from manual tasks. If you ever, manual repetitive tasks are time-consuming. They're a little frustrating. They're error-prone. If you ever felt like, maybe a robot could do your job, that team might be able to help you out. Well, we're not going to be able to make a Johnny Five for you to outsource everything. That was my joke. Yeah, I know. We're supposed to have a flag when I said my joke, so people would laugh. We talked about it with this side. But. So anyway, I'd like to talk about a particular success story that I had with one of my clients. And then maybe I can field some questions afterwards about if you have any questions. So one of my clients had he's an established client. He had an old system for order fulfillment. Just quickly describe what we did there, and then sort of the old way of going about things. There was a duplication of effort. It was very time consuming, and couldn't really remotely monitor the process that his workers were going through. An order would come in either by fax or email. They would take the information off that fax and email and write it into a work order, print it out, and give it to his workers in the production floor. Simple system, everyone kind of does that. But then he would sort of take the same information and write it into some shipping documents. And then he would take the same information and write it on some product labels and print those out. So there's a lot of, taking the same stuff and putting it here, putting it there, putting it everywhere. And maybe that's not the best way to do things. It's error-prone. It's very frustrating. I don't know if you people do that, but I don't really like doing that. It kind of gets me all like, oh, man. So if you're doing that all the time, not a good idea. So what we did was we went to a paperless system. Had a couple of benefits to it. It's a little bit more simple in some senses, but a little more complex in others. So you just fill out one form on the computer, and then the information that needed to go wherever it needed to go would go to that spot. Great. The guys in the field would get computers that could they could type in the work order as they're working on it, and then after they're done, that would get sent to the quality assurance guys, who would then fill in more information onto that particular work order. And when he's finally done with that, it would get sent back to the office and then print out a certificate that would get input into the system.
What did that client do?
They were chemical manufacturing. So, great system, everyone's happy, but what was the benefit for the client? Well, now the client he feels like he doesn't need to go to the office every day, and he can work from home a couple days a week. So what's the price on, what's the value on that, right? It's unlimited. So that's sort of one of the nice projects we get to do at Bautis IT. It's a medium-sized project for us, and really gets a good feeling because you actually feel like you're making a difference with your client. I don't know if some of you guys ever feel like some of the things that you do at your job doesn't really make a difference. Well, this made a difference. When the owner's at home on Fridays and he's like not at work and not stressing over if this widget gets manufactured or not, that's a great feeling. We also make websites for people. That's usually how I get into the door with companies, is I'll make the websites for them. And then while I'm learning about your business, we realize these other opportunities for automated projects for you. That's sort of my speech. I know it's not 8 minutes. But if you folks have any questions, I can answer all sorts of questions on websites.
Would you mention something about Google before?
Automation products.
Yeah. What were you?
I could talk about Google.
You referenced it before about something with the mobile device or some sort of change.
Google, it's not really recent anymore, so you might not be seeing those spam emails that you might see about it. So they have a mobile push to get websites mobile ready. so that in their searches, if people are on their phones, if your website's not mobile ready, it doesn't come up.
Huh.
So if your website is mobile ready, it's going to come up. But if it's not coming up, Google doesn't even really care about you for your phones. So if people are going to search for your business or your website from their phones and your website's not mobile ready, you're crazy right now. So you need to get that fixed. That's important. And you yourself, you can just go to, if you Google, mobile ready.
From your desktop.
From your desktop.
From your desktop,
Yeah. They have a website for you. You just go to Google Mobile Ready, and you plug in your website, and Google will tell you if your website's mobile ready. You got the green. You got the green is good, obviously. You have the yellow, which is like, you're kind of on the cusp, and if you're in the red, you should call me right now, because that's a problem.
That's interesting.
Yes.
What does mobile ready specifically mean nowadays? Is that just formatting, or?
It looks good on phones.
That's just it?
There's a
Just
bunch
formatting?
of criteria,
Okay.
but primarily that it's going to look good on a phone viewport. So, yes.
When it comes to the design of websites, is there a certain style that you specialize in, or a certain thing that you can't do? In terms of being extra professional or more stylistic, artistic.
There's a lot of stuff. I build WordPress websites.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of different ways to build websites. WordPress is good because it gives you a lot of features, sort of out of the box, sort of for free. With that, you can get templates, and there's companies who build professional templates for you. So really, I can work with any of those companies. I have my 3 or 4 different vendors that I'd like to suggest to people, and then we can make modifications to that particular template to do whatever you want. So if you don't, like you have like your nice big picture up front, and whatever you want, you can change it around to do really whatever you want. The reason why I like to do this versus like a totally custom approach is because totally custom approach is great, but sometimes you lose out on some features that you'll get with WordPress, like on-page SEO or some of these other things that WordPress is doing for you for free. Yeah. Another thing with the mobile responsive, back to that, is this concept Google has page speed, which really means that they're going to give preference to websites that load faster versus not load faster. So if your website kind of is maybe on the slower side, they're going to rank you lower than the same exact website that's on the faster side. And they have if you Google page speed and you put your website in there, you could see how you're ranking there with the green and the whatever. That's a little bit more on the sort of technical side because maybe you don't want to worry about that so much, but that is important if you're really in a competitive, for searches, that is going to be important with your page speed. And it's really simple to just do some simple things with just changing around a few images. So if you have, say, 5 images on your home page, and maybe you uploaded them at maximum resolution, that's going to be like a 10 megabyte file, and if you want to maybe not do that, and do it at the regular resolution for websites, that's going to be maybe like a half a megabit file. So that's a big difference. That's really going to affect your page speed, and especially with people who are going to look at your website on the phone with like, I don't know, Verizon or AT&T or somebody, and then that's going to make a significant change in how quickly your page is going to load on their phone.
I've noticed sometimes if I'm doing a regular search for something, certain things tend to pop up on the top.
Yeah.
Do you have ways of some of these searches for your company to make that pop up real quick? Supposing you're not putting your company name in, but you're looking for certain parameters.
Yeah, for sure.
What those parameters are.
So the easy way is to just basically pay Google to do that, because a lot of those things are ads. To to actually get ranked in the first page for like a competitive term is very challenging sometimes. What's sort of easier to do is to take like your title insurance, is to not really go after title insurance as a term, to maybe go after like a longer term, which maybe would be a particular question someone who cares about title insurance would look up.
Liens.
Or is title insurance required to purchase a home?
Yeah, so that's what you would really sort of target. That's a longer term, which there's probably not a lot of people competing over that particular question versus the title insurance question. So you might even get better leads from that term versus just title insurance term. So if you're going to invest $100 a month in Google AdWords, maybe you should focus on longer term.
But how do you know that a long term that you're talking about may return the person in the first period?
Well, that's what you sort of have to know that about your business. That's not, I'm really not the best person to sort of help with that. Sometimes I can do a little research for you and figure that out, but
aren't there companies that can tell you like the top 20 different, or let's say real estate or title insurance or auto insurance, that's what the phrases are. I think there are websites that you can type that in and you can gather that
Put in the word
information.
real estate, Whiker pops up right on the top. Yeah.
that's an ad. They're paying for each person who clicks on that Whiker link is going to pay Google. It's probably about $5. I don't know what it is, but it's probably some. They're paying quite a bit for that top placement.
That is essentially how Google works, though. It's like that yellow bar on top, 3 links there. Those are all paid search, and everything else is organic.
Yeah, and even as you're scrolling down, they're going to have ads interspaced into there as well, but they'll be marked as ads. Right. So the first 3 usually are ads, and then there's going to be some ads in the searches as well. They should have the ad tag on. Yeah. So, I mean, that's sort of, I guess.
Okay,
the end
thank
of
you.
my-
Thank you.
Awesome.